China's Belt and Road Initiative is a grand plan that includes some 65 countries and a third of the world's GDP and 60% of the world's population. Singapore, being situated along the east-west sea route, is well acquainted with the maritime Silk Road, but knew relatively little about the Silk Road economic belt, which spans from China across Central Asia to Europe. It is with this in mind that the 6th edition of the Future China Advanced Leaders Program, with a focus on the Silk Road economic belt, visited Urumqi and Horgosh in Xinjiang Autonomous Region and Almaty, the largest city in Kazakhstan.
There's definitely no denial that China will become a superpower. For business people like ourselves, it is imperative for us to understand how the Chinese market works so that we could actually conduct more lucrative business with them.
If you were to do businesses, the opportunity is in China. Expanding and starting a business there has great potential. So actually this course actually helped me and the rest of my classmates understand a lot more about the Silk Road and what China wants to do with it.
Learning is always a continuous journey, so one doesn't stop. One of the good things about the course is that it does allow alumni to come back, either attend courses or to go on the trips, and therefore it's a way to continuously stay relevant and connected to China.
The Chinese way of doing business and doing work is slightly different. We all know now that the BRI is going to be the next big thing. It offers immense possibilities. It also changes the fundamentals in the way the East will link with the West, and it offers a completely new dimension for the Chinese to reach out to the world. So if we want to be part of it, I think we got to work on the culture, we got to work on the relationships first.
During the first week of the program, participants were given a thorough update of the current economic situation in China via a series of thoughtfully curated sessions with notable industry experts.
The history, the culture, business law, taxation, policy, and doing businesses in China are all very relevant to my business. So we cover both the theory as well as the practical part of it, where we get to travel to China and see for ourselves the progress of the One Belt One Road initiative.
我个人觉得留下很深刻印象的是李亮一老师，他讲的关于这个丝绸之路文化背景的那一块，李老师讲得很生动，然后他也通过很多故事还有诗词跟我们讲了一下这整个丝绸之路这些国家的文化背景，让我们就是在经商的时候，我们也会比较注意一些底下比较根里的一些文化的东西啊，我觉得那个很有趣的。
I think the finance and the investment opportunities that was being described for our participants was very interesting for us, especially for my business where we are investing heavily into China. It actually gives us a lot of information, a lot of background on how to actually do business in China. The networking, talking to various partners, and even for the old classmates, old batches, that puts a lot of perspective on the timeline of how to do business from the past and to the now. Was very enlightening to actually make us more competitive. Yeah.
The opportunity to mingle with the rest of the classmates and the lecturers, I think, is a chance for us to network. The whole atmosphere of us trying to enter China as a Singapore Inc., so to speak. And I can see that they're all talking to each other, trying to see how we can go in as a team, hunt as a pack. I thought that was quite interesting.
The Future China Advanced Leaders Program has brought together like-minded people from a diverse industry. It also brings the big corporations and SMEs together. The trip out to China and Kazakhstan has built a camaraderie spirit among participants that extends far beyond the program.
The second week was when participants got to travel to Urumqi, capital of Xinjiang Autonomous Region, for a first-hand experience of China's Wild Wild West. Chairman of Business China, Mr. Li Yixian, Board Directors of Business China, Senior Minister of State, Dr. Ko Po Kun, and Senior Minister of State, Mr. Chi Hong Tat, joined the participants on this extraordinary experiential journey.
最深刻的印象是，当我们团队到达乌鲁木齐，见识到说我们自己普通旅客没办法见到的中国的另一面。每个逗留的站都是非常特别，因为了解到不同公司的那个企业文化跟他们发展的旅程。
The visit to the Goldwind factory, you can see that in terms of the technology, is really at the forefront of the world's technology, and when they roll out big plans, because they have the scale of the economy, a lot of things can actually be realized. Probably in terms of the number of wind projects that they have in the world is actually, again, very amazing.
The delegation also visited Horgos, an up-and-coming border town, and soon to be an important transport mode on the Trans-Central Asia Trade Corridor. This is where one can set foot in China and Kazakhstan, all at the same time.
I think what really impressed me most was at Horgos, where we were brought to see the free trade zone between China and Kazakhstan. It was amazing to see how fast China had finished building the building. Even though it was in a piece of land, there was no development except for that official structure. For the central government to put its mind to do something, they really act on it and they do it fast.
我们看到了整个的规划，包括哈萨克斯坦中国边境的第6代国门的建设。作为新移民，我看到中国近些年高速的发展，真的是感觉到很 surprise。我觉得对我这次也是一个从量到质的一个飞跃的变化，让我吸收了更多的中国的文化、经济，包括政治。
Though thousands of kilometers apart, Horgos owed its recent development to Suzhou Industrial Park, where under a national scheme, SIP is mandated to adopt the relatively less developed township of Horgos. The ALP delegation is pleased to observe the Singapore DNA, which SIP inherited, being transferred to Horgos and helping it grow.
China is a very dynamic market. This course actually gave us a perspective at the national level, but at the same time some important fundamental value in terms of the culture and historical perspective and the social dimension. And that's how we merge these two together and find our way to navigate into within the Chinese market.
看到说所谓一带一路国与国的一个合作模式，它让我能够放眼看天下，学怎么真正去登高望远，然后去理解一带一路的意义。
Continuing westward along the Central Asia Trade Corridor, the delegation arrived in Almaty, the former capital of Kazakhstan and its largest city. Besides the course content and companies visited, the co-learning, network and friendships forged were also highly valued.
This program has given me a good overview of the regulatory framework, the cultural perspective of the people in China. So that in some way will help me to have a better understanding of the marketplace and therefore being in a better position to develop the strategy for my business.
It provides an excellent platform for someone who likes to do business in China. It provides us with the information on different aspects of doing business, and it also creates opportunities for us to network.
To me, the key thing is knowing all the new people here at the program. The people from the governments which I met during the study trip, there are also the various entrepreneurs, there are also the professional managers like myself, and of course the lecturers and all.
组织方安排得非常好，他让我们实地能够去考察那边当地的情况，然后还有跟那边的政府官员，还有当地的一些商人一起交流。那么通过这样的一个交流机会呢，我们可以更实际的了解当地的发展的情况。 还有商业的一些机会，所以我觉得那个是一个对我来说是一个最好的一个收获。
如果用2个词来表示我自己的感觉，就是惊喜和充实。有很不同的经验，跟部长们还有校友们他们分享他们各行的经验，给我很充实的、很惊喜的一个感觉。对这个整个课程获得很多优质的知识。
The Future China Advanced Leaders Program is a unique China-focused program to not only prepare business leaders for the China now, but more importantly, the China of the future.
I think it's a very hectic schedule that we had for this program, but nevertheless enjoyable.
回报率是肯定是100%。